Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and you are going to love my guest today. She's got a lot to share about how you can heal your body, especially if you have some kind of mystery symptoms. So before we jump into that, I just want to say, if you're here for the first time, welcome. So happy to have you at the Heal Your Hunger Show. This is where we talk about the underlying causes of emotional eating, the stress, the personality traits, the underlying beliefs and things that get us into trouble and cause us to self-sabotage when we're doing so good in our weight loss efforts and our efforts to heal and have healthier bodies. So yeah, welcome. It's great to have you. Also, be sure to jump into the Secret Sauce group. This is where people go to get additional support and connect with other emotional eaters. You go to Facebook and type in the Secret Sauce to end emotional eating. Join us there. We would love to support you. And also, if you're not sure if you're an emotional eater, but you know you have weight loss struggles, you can actually take the quiz on my website, which is healyourhunger.com. Go to healyourhunger.com. You'll see a free quiz. It takes like 2 minutes to take that quiz, but you're going to find out if you're an emotional eater or a food addict or somewhere in between. And then you're going to get specific steps on what to do about it. So be sure to take the quiz, get your personalized score, and find out, like, for reals, like, what's going on. And very, very lastly, I think I might have said lastly already, my new TEDx talk just came out and it's on YouTube. So if you type in Tricia Nelson TEDx, you're going to see my TEDx talk, the title of which is Emotional Eating: What If Weight Loss Isn't About the Food? So definitely, I would love your thumbs up on the talk. I'd love your comments on the talk, and I would love you to share it with your friends and family, because somebody out there is struggling. If it's not you, let's share it with other people and make sure they get the support they need. But it may be you, and if so, you'll want to watch it. It's a good watch. Hey, I wasn't sure when I did the talk. I'm like, oh, I hope this is good enough to like share it with other people. What if I hate it? And then I'm like, I'll pretend I never did a TEDx talk, but that thankfully is not the case. I think it's a pretty good talk, and it's perfectly imperfect, but it carries a super powerful message that I think we need. I think our culture needs to know it's not about the food. So thank you so much for checking that out. On with the show. My guest is Dr. Kasia Kines, and she's the CEO and founder of Global Epstein-Barr Virus Institute. She's a leader in recovery therapies for chronic EBV, which is Epstein-Barr virus. She's a passionate advocate for debunking common misinformation about EBV in medical communities and lectures on this topic all over the world. She's on a mission to bring the truth about EBV and solutions to over 1 million people globally. So no one needs to suffer needlessly from this misunderstood virus and all its complications. So she's a dear friend, and she is truly passionate about this topic and about helping people heal. So I'm super excited for you to meet her. All right. Well, welcome, Kasia. I am super happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. And in my last Quit Sugar Challenge, I had people asking me about EBV, and I thought, you know what, I know who you should talk to, because I'm definitely not the person. So that's why I wanted to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on. And you really are, heralding this whole recovery system for Epstein-Barr virus. And so I'm just really excited to talk to you about this. I'm pretty much ignorant about all this. So I'm going to ask you questions that other people may have as well. And it's not because I'm so smart and thinking what they might be thinking. I'm thinking it too. so let's start with the basics. What is Epstein-Barr virus?
It's a herpes family virus that has been with us for millions of years. So it precedes us. And 95+% of global population carries that virus.
Okay.
So in a normal situation, it doesn't do anything. So for example, it's an opportunist So for your community, you know, when you have a lot of personal emotional stress, deep personal emotional stress, when you have personal losses, when you know your life is devastated for one reason or another, trauma, a lot of trauma, that is when the virus will come and surface. So, you know, I'm 55 and I only tested my EBV last fall first time because of my repeated water damage exposure.
Okay.
And so I started to notice certain things, and of course I knew what they were.
Yeah.
And so of course I was just slightly positive, and then, you know, I knew what to do. And so for people that, you know, co-infections are common. So people have one infection, and mold is really common.
Okay, well, let's slow down a little bit. So are you saying that we all have Epstein-Barr in our system, in our cells?
Yeah, because it's been there. It's like, you know, we have so much DNA that is alien and not our own. 10 times as much DNA, bacterial, viral, you know, fungal, that is not our DNA in our DNA. So, so it doesn't, you know, it doesn't cause damage necessarily to everyone. It's just there, but it's like a computer virus. You can turn it on and off.
Okay. And it's precipitated by stress, trauma, some, you know, kind of assault to our system.
And for your community, here's the big message. As the nutrition status goes down, the virus becomes more virulent, more aggressive.
Okay, so the more unhealthy our food choices,
the more
likely, the more, right? The more vulnerable we are to virus, which is true. It was certainly true with the pandemic, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you have somebody who is really stressed out, and you see McDonald's, like, I got enough. I'm just going to reward myself. I'm going to just go drive by McDonald's. Forget it. So just one meal like that, hash browns, you know, the buns, like a big breakfast at McDonald's, it was studied. You can increase your NF-kappa B, which is kind of an inflammatory marker, for 2 hours by 150%. And what people don't know is that marker is what the virus relies on to reactivate and to replicate. Wow. So you literally can turn on the virus by eating a fast food meal. This is documented.
Wow, that's pretty scary.
So this is where your work is so important, because you work with the emotions. But if people realize that physical aspect is so real, if you combine this, you can really thrive. Like the food matters for this virus a lot.
Wow, interesting. And you're talking about one trip to McDonald's, and that's like think of many trips to McDonald's over a month's period of time.
I know.
Wow.
And there's hundreds of things that decrease NF-kappa B, and these are simple. These are like your turmeric, pomegranate seeds, you know, rosemary, herbs and spices in the kitchen, culinary spices, you know, all these things, omega-3, zinc, all these healthy things in food. So it's really easy. It's just that being aware of it may help some of people in your community just make that better choice, or understand why you drive home and you feel so much worse. You have more brain fog, more achiness, more fatigue, like, you know, it's deeper. And when people don't understand it, you live in anxiety. But when you actually see that it's just like a computer virus, you can turn it on, bad news, but you can turn it off, good news.
Yeah. So what are the typical symptoms of Epstein-Barr? Like, why would somebody go get tested for this? Or usually that's probably not the first thing they get tested for, but they have mystery symptoms or something going on in their bodies.
So there's studies. I like to quote studies. So it's like, it's not my opinion. So researchers are saying, if you have a patient who has chronic medical issues, and you're doing everything right, and the patient is not responding, like the protocol is not working, we call it medical mysteries, right? But if that happens, you should test for chronic active EBV.
Okay.
Because it can be chronic infection. It can turn on and off anytime, but it can go chronic if you don't know, if you don't do the right things. And also, research also says, if you have patients and you can't explain their chronic condition, you've tried everything, but you can't explain it, they call it idiopathic. If you can't explain, you should test for chronic active EBV. So when we're working with a lot of those, clients and patients with chronic mystery illnesses, all these things, they tried everything, all the diets, and they're just chronic fatigue, malaise, achiness, like laden fatigue, really heavy, like you've been hit by a truck, kind of.
Okay.
When you can't walk from one room to another. That's the kind of fatigue we talk about. And then the brain fog, you don't have recall. You think you have onset of, Alzheimer's. You're freaking out because you can't remember what you started to say. Joint pains, headaches are very common. 75% will have headaches. Anything with larynx, anything with, the lymph nodes swollen, neck hurting, clearing throat, all that engagement. Sometimes ears buzzing, ringing, pain in the ears. So there's a laundress. There's weird things like mosquito bites infections, like sensitivity to mosquito bites, or nosebleeds, or ulceration, genital ulceration could be, eye inflammation. And then you have serious conditions like autoimmune conditions. It could be Hashimoto's, it could be lupus, it could be rheumatoid arthritis, idiopathic juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. It could be MS. It could be IBD.
All these things are symptoms that are triggered by EBV. Like, I'm trying to understand, is EBV an autoimmune issue?
So, and even celiac. So we have studies showing that autoimmune disorders can be turned on by this virus.
Okay, interesting.
And that includes these that I mentioned. Also, celiac is big. You could have celiac and not know it, and have wheat and do fine. That comes the infection, and without suddenly you get so sick when you have any piece of gluten, and you don't know why.
Wow.
Even diabetes type 1. So it's common. Lupus is common, and Hashimoto's is common.
Right.
Hashimoto is so common. So we have this big umbrella over all kinds of medical conditions. There's also cancer, different types of cancer, stomach cancer. 10% or more of stomach cancer is caused by this virus. And lymphatic cancer, you want to look at that. So
wow.
Yeah, we have a whole website with all these resources and symptoms and medical conditions and PubMed links to studies, because there's so many. There's so many. I mean, I have a whole chapter on these conditions in my book.
Right. And what is EBV? Where does it live? Like, when it's discovered, where is it?
Very good question. Actually, you're the first person ever asking me this question.
Oh,
so
yeah.
smart.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. So impressed. So this is what doctors should be asking, because they test wrong and they diagnose wrong because of that question. They're not asking that question. When you get the virus, it only spills into your bloodstream to travel. So when you reactivate, it means it's inside your infected cells and it's ready to burst. This is when you have those worst periods when you have so much stress. Stress can turn it on, And so when the cells are infected, it's kind of grows inside, creates RNA, uses your DNA, makes more young virants, and then boom, you have this trigger. Somebody died in your family, or something happened, and so you lyse. And lysing means those cells burst.
Okay.
That's reactivation. This is when you are acutely inflamed now, because now the young virus is spilling out of your cells and traveling in your bloodstream. But it uses the bloodstream only during 2-3 weeks as it travels, because the destination is your organs.
Okay.
So it's going to travel to your thyroid, to your brain, to your connective tissue, to liver, spleen, wherever it wants to go, depending on the person. That's where it will be. So it's not going to stay in the blood. After 2-3 weeks, if you continue testing for DNA, you're not going to find it. It's gone. But it's gone in.
Okay, and this is why it's triggering all these different autoimmune issues.
This is why you never know how it's going to present itself. Depends on the person. Yeah.
Wow, that is so serious.
That is very serious.
Oh my God. I'm so glad we're talking about this. And is this, I have a lot of people listening who see functional medicine doctors, practitioners. Is this more of the realm for the functional medicine world, or is mainstream, allopathic medicine hip to this?
Neither, I'm afraid to say.
Neither, I'm
afraid to say. Well-willing functional doctors, if they don't have the training, they don't really know. They're missing out of the panel. So it was so frustrating that we actually hooked up with a direct-to-consumer lab, because people don't understand that they can do that. And so within 24, 48 hours, you can get report locally, you can go locally, and they have the panel that we need. So you're doing the right thing. You get the report online within 24 hours, completely independently. That can save people years, because first of all, since everybody has EBV, so to speak, some doctors are not willing to test. They're just going to tell you they're not willing to test. It has nothing to do with your health.
Wow.
It's all a hype, medical media, whatever. So that's one thing. And the second thing is, if somebody agrees, you knock on those doors, I found a doctor, he's going to test me. They test and they miss 1 or 2. Sometimes they test 2, sometimes they test 3. You need to test 4 antibodies. And so that's another layer. You're wasting your time, because without all 4, you really don't know your status.
Okay.
And then number 3 is they misinterpret it. And so many people go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed by their doctors, and you fall through the cracks and you continue deteriorating. And so it's like a ticking bomb. So we finally said, okay, go to this consumer direct lab. It's available. There's many. Here's one of them. Go do it. Get it done. And then on the website, we also have explanation how to, understand your report. Like, what does it really mean? So people can do it independently. It's not rocket science. It's confusing. You have to do it a lot so you remember. So that's why we put that research there. So I want people to go and do it and know your stuff, and don't listen to anything your doctor.
So they don't have to pay a whole lot of money to a functional medicine doctor just to find out.
No.
I love that. Bless you. That's really nice, putting the power to the people.
We had to do that because I was so frustrated. I heard it again and again and again, and people are wasting money, resources, time, and energy they don't have. And then stress, when you are refused, or when you don't get the results, you're even more stressed. So you have more reactivation. It's just it's a hot mess. It definitely is a hot mess. Yeah.
Wow. And so much frustration and lost time and loss of your life of being with your kiddos and feeling good and vibrant and energetic. So, so this is great. So let's say somebody goes to your website and they're like, okay, the testing is showing proof positive. What are some of the solutions? Like what's your protocol like?
Mm-hmm. So that's another layer where functional doctors miss the opportunity, because, they'll mix prescription medication, antivirals, and they do not have high efficacy in literature, or from what I hear from physicians, they're useless. Mm-hmm. They do not get people recovered. And they will tap into botanical medicine. So they may do, echinacea or medicinal mushrooms and this and that. And it just doesn't move the needle. So based on research and based on my results in my clinic, the best approach is to use multitaskers that are hard antioxidants plus multifunction as nutrients and support your liver, your thyroid, your functions, like selenium, like NAC. And, funny enough, as we look through the COVID pandemic, and I look at some research, there's research coming on the same supplements we use for EBV recovery showing up for COVID. And some are unexpected, like licorice. They're just saying, hey, look at licorice. We think it can help, with the COVID. Hey, lysine. Lysine is a great antiviral, perfect for EBV, does heavy lifting. Hey, look, it shows working for COVID. And, NAC, we've already known that it works for COVID. Zinc, we already know. Vitamin C, we already know, But with the, and even selenium, which is one of my stellars. But you have to be strategic and have high dosages, really aggressive dosages to really make a difference. You can take all these, one capsule a day, you may feel a little bit better, but that's not going to move the needle. So yes, so it's just beautiful that that the things you can do for COVID, you can do for EBV. And I have some reports, anecdotal so far from our community, that protocol actually helped somebody through COVID or their spouse through COVID. And so the power of research and nutrients. So nutrients, antioxidant, multitasker, support for thyroid, adrenals, liver, all these things in one supplement. That's what we need.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah. These are the things I listed. They have selenium has so many functions.
But they're not you said in one supplement. Is there a supplement that has everything you need for EBV?
No, you can't do one supplement. No.
Okay. I thought that's what you were saying.
You have to do these each of these has all these benefits.
Yeah.
It's like a superstar. They're loaded.
Yeah, I misunderstood what you're saying.
Good.
So, I mean, it just sounds, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like you're supporting your body, you're supporting your adrenals, you're getting your body stronger, your liver stronger. Every bit of your body is better able to handle, weakness.
Any infections.
Yes.
And then you want to do a little bit of more work that you do. The emotional healing. We do a lot of work on joy, spirituality, because when people are really hurting, they have to bury that. But you have to have congruency between, your work line, your friends, your community, and who you are. You have to resonate with it, and you have to have fun, because that's where the physical opening for healing on the physiological level also happens. So it's like, you can take pills, but you have to go deeper and heal. So
no question. And that's how you get your body stronger too. There's such a mind body connection. If you've got trauma, if you have buried emotions, if you're not dealing with if you're not staying, emotionally fluid and really integrated, like you're not taking care of your emotional self and your stress, obviously your body will be weaker, and vulnerable.
And which woman is not stressed?
Yeah, no kidding. That brings a good question. Is this more common among women?
Oh, yes.
It is.
Yes, because women have, we're different chemically and hormonally. Mm-hmm. So we even use up serotonin differently. We use it up much faster and don't recover that much in stress. But the men in our community, I would say they are more empathetic, and they have thinner skin, so to speak. They are more vulnerable, more sensitive. I think that in the EBV community, what we do joke about it. We have an overachiever, anonymous international, type A personality, overgiver.
Yes.
Heart on your hand.
True. And that's true for emotional eaters. Emotional eaters are sensitive, empaths, right? They're caretakers. They're taking care of everybody else's problems. Yes, there's probably a lot of crossover.
It comes with the territory, but it's a curse, but it's a blessing too, because the people that I work with, for me, they are healers. If we can get into the core of things and physically heal, energetically improve, create barriers and plus, and then the next thing is you want to be of service and you want to shine your gifts because you have them. You are a healer. You can help others, but you have to heal first. So
you have to help yourself first.
You and I have this amazing opportunity to see if we can watch that happen and kind of hold that space. And that's the most rewarding part. So it's kind of like canaries in the mine. These are the people that we both need to help so they can actually self-actualize and do the work they came here to do. And that's the beautiful bit.
So true. And the things that are liabilities can be turned into assets. It's not a bad thing to be, empathetic and caring and want to give to others. We just have to find our own personal boundaries and make sure we're filling our cup first, and then our cup can overflow and bless others. So this is so interesting. So what are different ways that people can access your protocols? I know you have a book. Can you tell us the name of your book?
Okay, so the book is on Amazon. It's called EBV Solution.
Okay.
And then we have a couple of very fun things that we periodically do. So everything is on our website.
Okay, which is what?
Which is EBV Help. So EBVHELP.
Okay, ebvhelp.com.
And so we have masterclass series, which is like 159 for 4 monthly classes. We have a EBV transformational workshop, which is 2 days, and then a little bit of a challenge, which is like $47 or $1 if you return.
Okay, so there's lots of options.
We have those low ticket options that are very affordable, and we have the recovery program. That's a complete program for our community, for our students. So that's if you're ready to jump in and just do it.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, this has been super helpful. Thanks for clearing things up for me so I understand it better. And thanks for clearing it up for people who are listening who may be struggling with different symptoms and may want to look into this. So thank you so much. I have one final question for you, Kasia. And I ask all my guests this being the Heal Your Hunger show, what is your deepest hunger?
My deepest hunger. Oh, for spiritual growth and connecting to horses telepathically. That's my deepest. That's what I've been trying to learn better.
Nice. A horse whisperer. I love that. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's really sweet. So well, bless you. You're a beautiful friend and an amazing healer in this world. So thank you so much for your work, sweetheart.
Same here. Thank you for doing what you do. And thank you for having me here.
It's great to have you.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.